What is the greatest obstacle right now? I mean, you represented your country at the United Nations and the UN in Africa dealing with HIV/AIDS. What are the major obstacles to dealing with this pandemic, Stephen Lewis?
I think perhaps 3 or 4 in number. There are people who can speak to it more knowledgeably than can I. But number one, the resources are an enormous worry. The International Global Fund to fight AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria is in financial trouble because a number of the donor nations are not fulfilling the commitments they made, so that the next round of grants has been significantly curtailed, and that is being felt perilously at country level. I mean, if we don't get the drugs, people will die. It's a pretty strong equation. Number two, we're just beginning to understand the need to deal with the so-called key populations, the high-risk groups, with real focus, whether it's men having sex with men or sex workers or injecting drug users or prison populations. Those are areas where the virus is transmitted and spreads. And in a place like the Russian Federation and Eastern Europe, Central Asia, those are the explosive areas in the virus at the moment. And there isn't enough attention being paid to that. And a government like the government of Putin in Russia is entirely indifferent to the tremendous needs of the injecting drug use population. Number three, we have now understood that treatment is prevention, and therefore rolling out treatment to the most vigorous extent possible around the world is necessary. And we've got to overcome the phenomenon which Francois pointed out in her speech, the terrible double standard, where here, for example, in the United States, you start treating people almost immediately, whatever their immune system count shows them to be at. And in the rest of the world, you wait until people are far more sick before they get treatment, and many of them simply don't survive. We have to have an objective, similar regimen across the world.